to shatter some limitations. Hi, guys. How are you? So good. I am so happy to be back here in sunny Puerto Rico and coming back on Shanda on Demand. And I'm streaming on Instagram as well. And I want to talk to you about shattering limitations. How many guys are facing any sort of limitations this year? I know that's kind of a stupid question because I hope you are, because you're up to something big in this world. But at the end of the day, I am very, very well aware that we are, hi, Sissel. Hi, you guys. Thank you. I get the welcome home. So good. Love you guys. For you guys who don't know, I have been in Ireland and traveling all around Europe for almost, for like 10, 12 days, 10 days. And it's been absolutely awesome and epic. In fact, we almost stayed out there. So I'll get to today's content, which is about shattering limitations, like really shattering limitations, like kicking excuses to the curb, because we're halfway through this year. And I don't know about you, but I am fired up about the second half of the year, and I want it to be better than the first half. Anybody raising your standards out there? Any of you guys raise your standards out there where you're like, I want the second half of the year to be better than the first half of the year? Yes, 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 yes. Sound good? Okay, so that's what I want to talk about today. But before I do, I want to share with you that when we were in Europe, my husband and I were going to stay, and we were looking at Spain, we were looking at France, we were looking at Italy and Portugal, and it was just raining, 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 raining everywhere. And we also have to move. We are moving, and we don't know where we're moving in Puerto Rico. We have to move in the next 2 months because the owner of the place that we're renting here in Dorado Beach, not California, Dorado Beach, Puerto Rico, are coming back. So the reason why that's important to this story is, where in your life do you have stress right now? Where in your life do you have stress right now? You guys, like, just go in the comment section and tell me, where in your life do you have stress right now? And is there anybody who's being affected in your life because of your stress? Like, is it someone you love? Is it somebody you're married to, somebody you're dating? Maybe you're a little rude to your bestie, or you're a little short with your mom or your dad. Anybody brave enough to go in the comment section right now and tell me, where in your life are you in a situation where you feel a little stressed out, and who is being affected because of that? Who is being affected by this? So Karen, you are awesome. So Karen said cash flow. Somebody's like, did you go to Positano? No, I did not, in Italy, but it is on the books for next June. So just know that. Somebody else is saying that stress and living in multiple places. Patty says cash flow. Who else? Stressed a little bit with your business partner, 2 dogs, finances. My husband is being affected because of finances. I got stressed with money, and my hubby and I have been a bit stressed with one another because of it. Yeah. Okay. So these are big conversations, right? First of all, I just want to honor the people who took a moment and commented, because it takes a lot of courage. And to make money, to get out of hard situations, it takes courage. Right? It takes absolute courage to be able to do that. So the reason why I shared with you that I don't know where we're going to live in 2 weeks, and I'm just not worried about it, because I can go on Airbnb, or I could go and rent a place here in Dorado Beach, and it is very expensive here. It's $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 a month to rent here. And so, it's one thing if you live in, in Ohio or in Texas, and you're not paying $25,000 a month for something. That is kind of the going rate here in Puerto Rico where we live. So I share this with you because there's just no shortages of any sort of solution for any problem we have. And I want to take on some of the stress that has you drop into worry. I'm going to give you 2 key things that I think is massively going to help you manage your mind. Everybody write the word manage your mind. Manage your mind. Because what happens is that we get so pent up, and when we get worried and pent up, we not only do things have a way of tending to work out. Am I right or am I right? Like things just tend to work out. Even if you don't love the standard in which they worked out, they tend to work out. But the stress makes you and everybody in your life miserable. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it actually makes the problem 500 times worse. And so I'm really committed to, on this Shanda On Demand, as you're going into the weekend, to have you have a peaceful weekend where not only do you know that you can handle it, but you prioritize the right things because you're not prioritizing pressure. So pressure is going to be there if you're playing any sort of a big game. If you go start a company, you are every department of the company. That's stressful. Let's be honest. There's employees out there right now that are stressed out with one role when you have 5, right? If you're an entrepreneur. And so my point is that pressure it's a deserved problem in a good way. Right? My friend James says that. He says, Shanda, the problems you're facing in your business are deserved problems. I didn't have them when I only had 20 clients. I didn't have issues not issues like I have today, when I only had 200 clients. Now when 50, 80, we've had months, we had a whole year that we were clocking 111, 120, sometimes 130 or 40 high-level mastermind clients every single month coming in the door, right? People paying $12,000 or $15,000 a month. And so why are we not doing that now? Back end fell apart, right? Like technology fell apart. Leadership changed. And I could go on and go on and go on. So I share this with you not to complain. Like, I was just listening to this great sermon this morning, and it's over there, but I can't remember where it is in the scriptures. And bear with me, by the way. It somehow is absolutely okay to talk about the universe, but it's not okay to talk about the Bible. Like, it's just wild to me, the level of depth of editing of what we can or can't talk about. So remember this. You can be into Biden and I can be into Trump, or I can be into Biden and you could be into Trump, and we could still be friends. You can call God the universe. I can call God God. You could read A Course in Miracles and I could read scriptures, and we can still be friends. Like, I don't know why we ever thought that we have to live in a world that all of us have to absolutely 100% like the same blazer jacket, right? And if we don't like the blazer jacket, like you like purple and I can't stand the color purple or pink on me, right? Then somehow we're wrong. But so I just share this with you because I love sharing things that work for me, and the scriptures have always worked for me, getting out of the spin, the mindset spin. So the scriptures say, stop complaining. It says, do everything without complaining or arguing. So I leave you with that commandment, not the 10 commandments, but a word, because a lot of people are praying. A lot of people are some of you guys are doing tarot cards, and some of you guys are against tarot cards, and you're doing Bible and scripture, right? My point is that all of us are trying to get to a higher level. And as we're trying to get to a higher level, we need to lower the resistance, lower the pressure, and step into a greater level of faith. Am I right or am I right? Yes or no? Like, can you hear me right now? So the scriptures say, do everything without complaining and arguing. So are you arguing about your success and your future? And are you arguing with the people in your life and actually solidifying the pressure even more? Because instead of you sitting down and figuring out how to overcome it, I'm going to give you the 2 key factors that are going to help you massively manage your mind. But instead of using your resources, which is your energy, I will tell you, if you want to sell more online, you got to get energetic. People are like, oh, but that's not me. It wasn't me either. But when I started to realize that when I got energetic, people moved. People could feel the tension in the room. When I talked about the fact of moving from Canada to America and sitting on my floor and having $500 in an envelope and having it hidden in my clothes, when I talk like this, it actually pulls the tension together. But if you want to keep saying that that's just not who you are, you're not expressive, then fine. Then don't sell. Don't lead a movement. For God's sakes, don't write a book that nobody's going to read, right? Like, part of our responsibility of entrepreneurs is to realize what works for other people, not always what works for us. So key number 1 is you 100% need to know your worth. And I'm telling you, the personal development movement, which I have a personal development training, which I love, it's responsible for so much of my leadership and success. But you have to take leadership with a grain of salt, in the essence of saying, at some point you need to pass grade 2 in personal development and stop manifesting for you. Listen to me when I say this. If you want to lead a great movement, you've got to stop fixing yourself. And you've got to listen, nobody's going to talk to you about your worthiness issues if you stop talking about it. If you just get your worthiness, I'm going to share a quick story with you. If you got your worthiness and you got how freaking amazing it is that you are alive. I've had like four miscarriages and a chemical pregnancy. And I'm thinking, gosh, it's a miracle that my son was born. An absolute miracle that my son was born. It's a miracle that you were born. And what the heck are you doing with this time? So if you want to keep fixing yourself and just manifesting things for yourself, you're going to have a very shallow life. You really are. I know it's exciting. It feels good for a minute, right? It's awesome. But I'm telling you, if you can actually get your worth, I'm going to show you how to do this in a second. Things are going to massively change for you because you're going to get over the thing that you've been focused on for a lot of your time. Okay, so how many of you guys are into personal development? Put me. Okay, I am. I love personal development. There's God and my spiritual walk, and then there's my leadership, because God's telling you what to do constantly. Do you have the courage, which is the leadership, to do it? If you don't have the courage to do it, then you've got a leadership problem. Right? If you have a procrastination problem, you got a perfectionism problem, you got a worthiness problem, you got a leadership problem. Right? Some of you guys have a God problem. You can't hear. Right? You're so busy praying and trying to manifest the new car, the new house, the new man, the new woman, the money in your bank account, where you're not even thinking about, you know what would actually create the manifestation so much faster? Is to get that you're okay and money doesn't define you, and neither does marriage, and neither does having a baby, and neither does getting a C-level job. Like none of that. Like I've always said, like when I was in corporate America, I got a VP level job when I didn't deserve it. And I got a general manager job when I didn't deserve it. Me, I had no experience around it. You can put titles behind people's name, but it doesn't make them that. What makes them that is their character of how they solve a problem. So what I'm offering you right now is a ticket to freedom, which is a ticket to pass go. There's a woman that I coach. I love her. And we brought her to her first $1 million. And then after $1 million, we got her to like about 1.82 million. And then she said, I don't need to coach with you anymore. And she said, because I'm going to go learn operations now. And I was like, the last thing you should learn is operation systems and processes. If you are an entrepreneur, the last thing you should learn is systems, processes, and operations. Why? Because you just put another hat on when that's a hire. And if you try and do those details in your business, it means you're not selling, you're not leading the vision of the company, you're not talking to people, you're not looking at comments, you're not doing research about what's going to happen in your industry in the next 3 years because of artificial intelligence. Like that's your job as a founder and a CEO. How much of that do you have time to do? Right? Like your job is to make a certain amount of money and then hire operations. And so she was able to hear that and she didn't leave. Today, she has almost a 4-point-something million company. And she just messaged me the other day and said, I'm a lifer. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for being a safe place for me. You know, but she also doesn't get hurt when I give her honest coaching. But then she sees my heart when I show up when nobody's there. Do you see what I'm saying? So I got honest coaching this morning. And it was directed at me. And there's somebody that's coaching me on something, and I created a template and a script, and he said, that sucks. And so some of you guys would be offended by that if your coach said that sucks, right? There's somebody that I told that she had, it's weird because there's 2 women that are really good friends that both coached with me, and both of them got pissed off at me. And I'm not saying this to be right. I'm saying this because it could have really helped both of them in a huge way. But they could not have handled the coaching I got from my coach just this morning, which is that script sucks. You clearly did not study this, which I studied it, but I studied it months ago. And I just did the script from memory. And because you clearly didn't study it well enough. And so I'm going to resend it to you and study it and do it. And then I'll get on a phone call with you. And we'll walk through this. I think you can crush it. So that's like you suck and you could be wildly successful comment at the same time over voice note. I shared it with my husband. We started to laugh. I was like, it's so good to be with somebody that isn't afraid of whether or not I like them or not. They're more concerned about me being successful with a tactic that we're working right now. The person that I told, the two girls that are together that I could have really helped, are friends. And I told this girl that was doing an event, which she would think it was a successful event, but it was a weak event. And I know people who were at that event. And she is capable of a massive event, like a massive event. And she's got a great heart, but she's highly offended, right? The Bible says offense will cancel a miracle. Look at the fruit of your relationships. Look at the fruit of your bank accounts. And I'm not saying if you married into money, that's the fruit of your bank account. Okay, I'm actually saying, what are you doing as a contribution to the planet? So I told this girl, I said, your marketing is a 3 out of 10. And she was so offended by that. And I'm going to tie this whole story together because it's powerful. And I said, I started to backpedal because I'm like, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to tell you that you're worth more. If you're the key, this is the first key, you need to know your worth. Know your worth. Because if your worth is in you being right, if your worth is, so the person who got frustrated with me or got upset when I said your marketing is a 3 out of 10, it wasn't because I was trying to hurt her. It was because I knew how to change it. And she's so hard on herself that she's always skating the coaching, right? And so I was like, I'm just gonna go in and be direct. And so I went and I got direct on it. If her worth was not in her job or her money, she would have been able to hear that. Like I could hear it today, right? From my coach, like that script sucks, Shanda. I'm like, do you not think that Tony Robbins has done things that suck? Do you not think Joe DeSena, who in Spartan Races has done things that suck? Do you not think Sarah Blakely has been told that she sucks at things when she was building Spanx? Like, come on, you guys. You don't need to build a group of people around you that just sit there and go, oh my gosh, like, you know what, Jamie, it's so great that you do that. Like, you need that too, right? You need somebody who's like my coach is like, listen, I know you're going to be wildly successful at this because I've seen you on the front platform and how you love people and how strong of a marketer you are. This is going to change the whole scope of your business, but that sucks. And you clearly didn't follow the coaching the way I intended it for you, Shanda. Like, I'm okay with saying that because my worth is not in my money. It's not in whether or not I'm good or bad. My worth is in the Lord. Like that's where my worth comes from. My worth is in, I made it to this planet. God put me here. And that's where my worth is. And I know that I'm great. Do you know that you're great? Do you know that? And I don't want to be esoteric on you. I want to be clear. Because unless you operate like that, what's going to happen is you have an opportunity to be successful or you have an opportunity to suck. And you're going to suck until you move to success. And the only way that you can actually move from sucking to success is if you can be honest about that. Okay? The second thing. So I want you to ask yourself right now, where are you sucking that maybe somebody else is sharing that with you and you're getting offended? Because maybe you know you need to change something and you're just not doing it or whatever, because you're getting your worth in this thing and so you're chasing it. You do the work on that. If you want to be courageous, it takes a lot of courage to suck and just not be pissed about it and just be like, shit, like, because I'm gonna go to success, right? Like I sucked when I used to speak on a stage. I was shy. I sucked. I used to suck about selling. I used to suck at making money. And now it's like, that is my superpower. I'm great at it, right? I can make it anywhere. I can make your plan work. I just know I can, right? I just know I can. Can you get your worth from something else than your money or what you do? Because if you can't, you cannot be vulnerable enough in today's world to be able to succeed. Okay, because you need vulnerability. I'm watching somebody who just got saved by Christ. He's a network marketer. He's huge. And he's gone from thousands of people on his Instagram lives to like 20. Okay. And I share this with you because I saw this today. And I sat there and, I sat there and I went, in like 6 months from now, instead of having 1,000 people on his Instagram live, he's going to have 50,000. Why? Because he's not afraid to suck, shift gears, attract a new audience, let go of who he was, grab onto who he is now, and run forward at that 100%, because his worth is not coming from what he does. Do you guys get what I'm saying? That's right, Kim. You're right. You get what I'm saying? Do you get it? So it's like literally, you'll see evangelistic leaders constantly operate like that. They'll shift gears based on what's true for them, because their worth doesn't come from you as a follower, a client, a buyer, anything. It's like they know who they are, right? You're watching Lori Harder talk about this with Chris Harder right now. You're watching Jesse Lee, who just got cancer and is beating cancer right now. You're watching these people because what they're doing is they're saying, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think about me. This is what I'm doing. Does this resonate with you? Because I'll help you get there. If you cannot need me to be something for you and you can just let me hold this sliver that you need, then listen, we can go somewhere together. But if you feel the need to criticize and pull me apart and stab me in the back, then you know what? Go find somebody else. I don't need it. Right. And so when you operate like that, you know your worth. You no longer get on a live and you're afraid to talk about transgender. I was talking about transgender, non-binary on a freaking first class flight back from Ireland yesterday. Right. And we were all having this debate in first class, and it was amazing. Right. It was amazing. But what I noticed is that the tickets are very, very expensive to be in that first class. I'm not saying that people with money are all good. I'm also not saying that people with money are all bad. I'm saying what it takes to get there is a certain level of leadership that you sucked and then you had to lead, and you know where to battle and where not to battle. You know how to have a conversation that leads a team. And the only way you can scale to a lot of money is to have high self-worth. In my opinion, I think money is definitely connected to self-worth. And when you go after, when you chase money, then you will chase being good. And if you chase being good, I'm sorry, you just won't be that good, because people will feel it. They will feel that it is not you. It is not congruent. It is not authentic. It is not any of that. So if you can not care about what other people think, and you can go out there and you can talk about the hot topics, you will crush it on the second half of this year. Third thing is know what you want. Okay, this is super, super key on know what you want. Why is this important? This sets your priorities. So for a very, very long time, I didn't want to be famous. I want to be famous now. And the reason why I want to be famous now is I want it for our platform at Hardcore Business. I never wanted to be famous because I was still in a worth conversation where I didn't want the attention. I had a very, very strong looking good conversation. I didn't want all eyes on me. That fear is gone now. I'm not afraid about what you think about me. I'm not afraid of people talking behind my back. In fact, if you're talking behind my back, fantastic. If you're watching this live, that means I'm doing something right. Right? Because there's absolutely no way on this God's green earth that there is any way that I could have everybody as a raving fan. But if you're watching me and you talk behind my back, that's fantastic. I drive you nuts enough that you watch. That's fantastic. Right? It must be that I don't care about your worth because you're attracted to it. Now, if you love what it is that we talk about, I think we have the highest, not only highest converting, but I think that we have the highest value. I think we have the highest value free coaching online out of anybody. Am I right, you guys? Shanda on Demands. I did 2 weeks of showing you guys how to rise up. I showed you every monetization strategy that you could possibly live by, and people made great money for 2 weeks on our Shanda on Demands, right? It was a couple of weeks ago before I went to Ireland, right? I think we have the highest valued content that's free online. Am I right or am I right? So you guys, 100%. Yes, yes, yes. 100%. I made some money. Yes, right? So that's powerful, right? So, but you're a giver. Thanks, Joe. But my point is because I know what I want. Right? And so what do you want? Because if you know what you want, then you can actually focus on your priorities and not let people take you off. So I'm going to share something with you guys. We are halfway through this year. How'd you do the first half? I'm going to end this live in 2 seconds, and I'm going to challenge you. How'd you do the first half of this year? Did you do great? Did you do good? Did you do great, good, or not so good? Let's do this. Good, great, or sucked? Good, great, or sucked? Go in the comment section. Good, great, or sucked? Good, great, or sucked? Go in the comment section and let us know. Okay, so terrible, good. What else? Good, great, or sucked? This first half of the year. Henry says sucked. Paige says great. Zena says good. Deborah says good, great, sucked, ducked, sucked. Okay, so some of you guys did good, and some of you guys did great, and some of you guys sucked. Okay, great. All good. I guarantee you, if you live a long enough life, you're going to walk through all those seasons, right? We're going to walk through suck seasons, we're going to walk through good seasons, and we're going to walk through great seasons. Okay, everybody wants to hang out with you when you're doing great. Who's with you when you sucked? Everybody wants to hang out with you when you're doing great, but who was with you when you sucked? That's a big aha moment, okay? Now, here's my challenge for you. I am doing something called 75 hard. Any of you guys ever do that? 75 hard? I'm doing something called 75 hard. It's not, I didn't create this. This guy, Andy, did. And the reason why I'm doing it, and I'll for you guys who've ever done a Hardcore Leadership program, this is why we tell people to enroll people that you love into Hardcore Leadership. Because evangelistic leaders never, ever do something alone. So I'm doing 75 hard. My husband's doing 75 hard starting on Monday. It's not our program. We're not an affiliate of it at all. But we went to our Hardcore Business team company, and I did a pocket coaching while I was in Ireland to them, to the corporation, both my companies. I said, hey guys, I'm going to do something called 75 hard. I'm going to start on Monday. I want to know if you want to do it with me. And I shared why I'm doing it, my worth, and what do I want. The reason why I'm doing it, what I want, is I want the second half of my year to be way better than the first half of the year. Right? Like, I want to make more money. I want to reach more people. I want to create a bigger movement. I want to create more fame for the platform. I want to be omnipresent everywhere. I want to get one of our companies evaluated to be able to move to a sale next year. Like, and get that multiple. There's things that I want to buy my mom a house. My mom is moving in September from Canada, right? Like, there's things that are pressuring in on me, just like you. And instead of allowing the pressure to get me, I'm actually stepping into hard, 75 hard, so that I can get the mental discipline to be on my game at a level in the second half of the year better than the first half. Are you guys following me on this? So here's the thing, that when I started talking about it, people started messaging me and saying, I'm going to do this with you. So if you want to do this with me, and with the Hardcore Business team and the Hardcore Works team, then I want you to put hashtag 75 Heartcore. Hashtag 75 Heartcore. That's how we're going to find each other. Now, when I started talking about this last week, there are friends and people and clients that I just talked to on Instagram or Facebook that said, oh, I'm going to do this with you, but I'm going to do it my way. Here's the thing. You can't edit the program. That's the whole problem. The whole reason why I'm doing 75 hard is because I'm editing my program called My Life. I'm editing my program called My Role as a CEO. I'm editing my program called my role as a content creator. I'm editing the program. What I'm finding is that I'm doing it my way. And if I'm doing it my way, I'm not doing it the best way. I'm doing it the most comfortable way, because I'd be absolutely insane to do things anything else but the most comfortable way, even if it's hard, challenging, stuck, sucked, great, good, whatever. Do you guys follow me here? So you can't one of my friends messaged me and said, I've been wanting to do this. And she said, but I have gut issues. And I'm not sure if I want to work out that hard, because reading is not going to hurt her gut issues. So if you don't know 75 hard, I recommend that you Google it. You download the app, that you go to the creator of 75 hard, pay the $7 for their templates, that you print out their templates, you listen to the podcast, and the program's absolutely free. There's no cost to it. Okay. And so my point is that, like my friend with gut health, I'm like, you have to read a book. You have to read 10 pages of a book. You have to work out 2 times in a day for 45 minutes. And one of those times has to be outside. So here's what's wild. You could walk. You could do squats. You could do sit-ups. You could watch a freaking 45-minute Shanda on demand or a past training and do sit-ups and leg raises, or go for a jog, walk, run, part everything. My point is that there really is no excuse not to do it if you feel called to do it. But what would be really easy to do is for you to edit it to make it comfortable. It will still be hard, But to edit it, to make it comfortable, exactly the freaking reason why some of us are not hitting the stride that we could. 2023 is a legacy year. And it's a legacy year for you. It's a legacy year for me. It's a turnaround year. If for some of you guys, it's a tipping point year. For some of you guys, it's a turnaround year. For some of you guys, it's a massive triumph year. It's the year that you go to a level that you only dreamed of. And that's not going to happen without extraordinary mental discipline. Mental discipline means that when you think there is no way, you find a way, and that's leadership. So for you guys who are like, I can't do 75 hard because I've got a gut issue, or I'm tired, or I'm traveling. Yes, you can. The mental toughness is, can you figure out how to do it? Because you can't miss the 10 pages of reading. You need to drink a gallon of water a day. You need to do 2 45-minute workouts a day, and one must be outside. My point is that there is a way. I could have been on the Ireland trip and did squats up and down the aisles if I wanted to. If they wouldn't have let me do that, I could have sat in my chair and did this for 45 minutes. Like, there is always a way. Now, can you only imagine what it would do to your business, or your life, or your relationship, or whatever it is that you're working on, if you operated in a way like this? This, my friend, is the 50-way mark. We're 50% through this year. And whatever it is your first half of the year looked like, you could almost guarantee your second half of the year is going to look like just the same as the first, unless you make a rapid change. And so I'm personally going to do 75 hard. My husband's going to do it. We have a bunch of people in both of our companies that are going to do it. I love that. And of course, there'll be some people who will make concessions on whether or not they want to do it exactly how the program's designed or not. But I recommend you don't do that. Because this is not about a workout program. This is about you taking your mind to the next level and knowing, what do you want at the end of 75 hard? I want the second half of this year to triumph over the first. I want to see a $10 million week. I know, isn't that wild? I want to see a $10 million week inside of Heartcore. I know exactly where that is right now. We're reverse engineering that. I want to see myself buy my mom a house. I want to see myself bring my mom down here. I want to see, there's certain things that I want to see on the second half of the year, and I only got 6 months to do it. And so my point is what are you doing the second half of the year? And what are your audacious goals that are so freaking unrealistic? Because you're not going to do 75 hard and edit it to be comfortable. You're going to do 75 hard because you want to become that person. And there's that person, whoever that person is, needs to be a certain character and a certain discipline to create the results that you want. And so that, my friends, is leadership. And 75 hard is amazing at upping the game with that. So if you want to do 75 hard with us the right way, do hashtag 75 heartcore so that we can find you. I recommend you go on Instagram and go do some stories. I don't profit from this at all. I just would love your accountability. I would love your accountability to do it together, because I can only imagine, between Shanda on Demands, between the trainings that we put out there, if you're a client of ours, how our Mentor Me Live calls are going to go. I can only imagine what's going to happen to at least our community inside of Heartcore. What will happen to us when we're all operating at our highest potential mentally? So I'm going to end on this and just say, I'm starting Monday. Highly recommend you download the app. Highly recommend you listen to his podcast. When you download the app, it'll take you to another page, which has his podcast on it. Highly recommend that you go listen to the podcast. And I highly recommend that you do this, even if you're scared shitless to do it with us. Okay. Because honestly, there was a point where I was like, do I really want to do it? Now I'm all in, but I'm all in because I've been like talking about it, getting ready for it. I've been like getting it into my bones. I'm like, okay, let's go. Now my husband and I are like, yeah, let's go. But at first it was like, okay, I know we need to do this. How many guys know you need to do this? Put me. I was like, I know we need to do this. And now it's gotten into, now I'm excited because I know what I want on the other side of it. Know what you want on the other side of it. Who do you need to level up to be for the second half of the year to be the best year yet? Because this is your legacy, and you're freaking writing it right now. You're writing it right now. You're writing it right now. And don't think for 1 minute that if your character or discipline doesn't change for the second half of the year, that you're going to have a better year. That's called a pipe dream. You have a better year because you change. You have a better year because you become more disciplined. You have a better year because you step up in a different way. 75 hard can rise us all up, and we could do it together. And I would love to do it with you guys. All right, you guys, I'm scared. I'm scared poopless, Shanda. I know, I hear you. This fear will go into excitement though. It really will. But I really believe that you need to track it. Okay. So download the templates, listen to the podcast all the way to the end. Start getting in this completion energy. Like I go to the podcast, like I almost stopped the podcast 10 minutes before the end. I was like, no, there, that's why I'm doing 75 hard. I got this little lag, this little 10% that needs to be closed on me, right? And so remember, the greatest leaders on the planet put themselves in the hardest situations intentionally. Sarah Blakely puts herself in an endurance race every year. She hates endurance. She hates working out. She puts herself with Richard Branson, where she's deathly afraid of heights, scaling a hot air balloon up in the air at like, imagine this, a hot air balloon up in the air and having to come out of a little basket and scale it, like rock climbing it in the air to the top of the bubble. Even if you weren't afraid of heights, that is effing scary, right? Why do the greatest leaders in the world put themselves in hard situations? It's all a mental game. So if you want more success, you've got to play the mental game and stop playing the in the flow game all the time. In the flow is beautiful. I call our zone event the zone event. In fact, if you don't have a ticket to zone event, you should go get that. You should go get that right now. Go to thezoneevent.com, thezoneevent.com. If you do not have a ticket for Zone Event right now, you should go get one at thezoneevent.com. But the Zone Event is like about you're in the zone as an athlete. You're in the zone as an entrepreneur. You're in the zone of making money. I am very, very experienced about getting in the zone of making money. Some people hit it quicker than others, but it's always because of a mental game. It's not because of what we do doesn't work. It's because of a mental game. So I'm into the flow. I'm into the zone. I'm into manifest. I'm into all that. I'm into the Bible. I'm into scripture. I'm into all of that. But here's the deal. Even I know that if Sarah Blakely had to put herself into hard situations that she hated every year and still does, then why not us? Go do 75 hard with us, guys. We're going to start on Monday. All right. I will see you next week. Mwah! Thanks for the warm welcome back from Ireland, you guys. So much love for you. I will talk to you soon. Bye.